Praise be to the Eucharistic heart of Jesus. As we go on with novena to Saint Joseph, we would like to reflect on his mercy and hope. St. Matthew chapter 5, verses 48. Be merciful as your heavenly Father is merciful. We all are called to imitate Christ, not only religious, but all Christians are called upon to imitate Christ. When we reflect on Saint Joseph imitating the mercy of Christ, we recall his youth, when he lost his parents at a tender age. The father left him with a lot of wealth, and Saint Joseph had asked and got permission from his father to distribute the wealth to the poor. Here, we can understand that Saint Joseph had mercy towards the poor, and that is why he had asked his father to distribute his wealth to the poor. After the death of the parents of Saint Joseph, the servants of his family began to take Saint Joseph's wealth without permission. This is because they knew that Saint Joseph was loving and kind. Finally, they ended up abusing Saint Joseph, but Saint Joseph, who was merciful towards them, did not retaliate. Saint Joseph had a great desire to go and stay in Jerusalem temple. After distributing his wealth to the poor, but his relatives asked him to stay with them because they wanted to take the wealth of Saint Joseph. Saint Joseph had to give in to his relatives' interest. He prayed to God, and an angel advised him to sell all that he possessed and reserve a portion to offer in the temple of Jerusalem, to give a portion to the poor, and to retain only a third for himself, since God wanted him to be poor. The angel also advised him to learn carpentry for his sustenance. When Saint Joseph began to do what the angel had told him, he was abused by his relatives, and they called him names like lunatic, squanderer of his father's wealth, good for nothing, and others. But because of his mercy, Saint Joseph did not revenge nor show any anger, but he kept on treating them with mercy. We see Saint Joseph imitating the mercy of Christ even when Jesus was still in the womb. When Saint Joseph realized that Blessed Mother was pregnant, Saint Joseph, in his mercy, did not want to expose her to shame, nor to report her so that she could be stoned to death, as was the rule of the time. Rather, he decided to divorce her secretly. Saint Joseph always regarded Blessed Mother as holy and graceful. Thus, he did not take it negatively when he realized that she was pregnant. He could still see her holiness in that situation and felt mercy of what had happened to her and what could be the outcome. St. Matthew chapter 25 verses 31 to 46. Whatever you did to the little of my brothers, you did it to me. St. Joseph expressed his mercy towards Mother Mary by not reporting her to be stoned to death. And in so doing, he saved the child Jesus who was in the womb of Blessed Mother. Our founder father, Venerable Bishop Thomas Krialasheri, had a special love and mercy towards the poor and the needy. He went beyond the rules of the time and uplifted the derelict. He also touched the leper, which was against the rules of the time. Thus, our founder teaches us about unending mercy, not only by words, but through his life example. In the same way, our co-foundress, servant of God, Mother Mary Chantal, was so merciful that she could not allow any poor or needy person who approached her to go empty-handed. Let us also look at St. Joseph, a good example of hope. Psalms 125:1. Those who trust in the Lord are like Mount Zion, that can never be shaken, never be moved. No matter how difficult the situations may appear in our life, those who hope in the Lord will never be disappointed. When St. Joseph was told that he was going to become the foster father of Jesus, he did not know how he was to provide for the basic needs for the Holy Family, since he was only a carpenter, but he trusted and hoped in God's providence. Proverbs chapter 3 verses 5. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and never rely on what you think you know. When St. Joseph was told to leave for Egypt, since Herod was seeking to destroy the child Jesus, it is so amazing how he took the situation. First, he did not know where Egypt was. Hence, he did not know the way that leads to Egypt. But because of his trust and hope in God, he began his journey to Egypt, passing through the rough desert with wild and dangerous animals, not knowing how he was to provide for the family there in Egypt and how he was to get shelter. He trusted and hoped in God, and by seeing his faith and hope, God provided for him. Again, when St. Joseph was told to go back to Nazareth, since Herod, who sought to kill the child Jesus, had died, St. Joseph did not hesitate, though he knew that the heir of Herod was his own son. He hoped in God and went back to Nazareth. When we go back to the birth of Jesus, which happened when they had gone to Bethlehem for census, St. Joseph moved, knocking from door to door, hopefully until God provided for him a place in the cowshed where Jesus was born in the manger. Let us recall the words of a British poet, Minnie Lewis. And I say to the man who stood at the gate of the ear, give me the light that I may move safely into the unknown. And he replied, go out into the darkness and put your hand into the hand of God. That shall be better to you than the light and safer than a known way. So I went out forth, and finding the hand of God, moved gladly into the night. And he led me towards the hills and the breaking of the day. Isaiah chapter 43, verses 18 to 19. I will make a way in the wilderness